up in here. It's two bros talking. I'm Burn. I got my brother Ben on the line.
What's happening, everybody? How you doing?
And we right now, this is our NBA Finals wrap up right here. We're gonna be talking about the Game 6 last night. Bucks and the Suns. Bucks take the championship, and just kind of what we feel like the NBA is gonna look like moving forward going into next season. So why don't you open up and just give me your preliminary thoughts on the game last night?
Well, first and foremost, congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks for winning the championship. I think it was for me. I give them a lot of props because throughout the series they turned me. I wasn't a huge Milwaukee Bucks fan going in, but gradually as the series progressed, I realized how good they were as a team. And last night's game was ridiculous. Giannis is unstoppable as a basketball player, especially when he's hitting. Last night he was clicking on all cylinders. He had his 15-footer going, and then forget the drive. That's outrageous. And it just seemed like he had his hands on every possession. He was running people down on defense. Even if he didn't get the rebound, he was able to hit it to somebody. Middleton didn't even play that good last night.
No, he didn't.
It didn't matter. Because Giannis, he had 50. I think Middleton he was in a team.
Middleton had like 17.
Got some help from the rest of the fools. And I think the league messed up because Giannis is only 24.
They're 27. 26? 26. He'll be 27 next season, yeah.
He's either 26 or 27.
Yeah.
He's young. I think they made a huge mistake letting them get through the way they got through. Because who can stop them now?
Well, I think the immediate response will probably be Brooklyn, but I'm not entirely sold on them. But going back to last night, like, man, he played at a level that's kind of, he played at a level that was just up there with the greats. Like, it was like, no matter what y'all do, we're not losing this game. The Milwaukee jumped up big and then Phoenix came right back. It was kind of a flip of game 5. But then in that third quarter, he was just like, look, it don't matter what y'all do. I'm the best player in this series, and it doesn't matter. And I think Phoenix, after they came back and they took the lead, once Milwaukee started coming, I think Phoenix got the wide eyes and they was like, oh snap, what are we gonna do? And my main takeaway from the Suns and essentially what killed them, I think a couple things killed them. One, the ball stopped moving. It started turning into ISO ball, screen roll ball. They stopped moving the basketball. But one of the second things that really stood out to me was Ayton. And I can tell you when Ayton became a non-factor in this series. And it was game 4 when Giannis blocked that alley-oop. He never recovered from that. I think DeAndre Ayton was playing in the playoffs, the whole playoffs up until that point, with that veil of reality covering his eyes. He was playing well. He was kicking. He smashed AD when they went head up. He went head up with Jokic. Like, he dominated that Clipper series. And through the first 2 games, they dropped game 3, but the Suns won the first 2 games. He still had that veil of reality on him. But that block opened his eyes. And after that, Giannis was just going downhill. And, man, Ayton looked nervous. He looked like a second, third year player. He looked nervous.
They never ran that play again.
They never ran that screen roll again. Like, that got into his, I think that affected him. And again, I don't say that to like put him down. I'm not trying to talk trash about it. I think it's a reality. It's like the one thing about the great NBA players and just great athletes all in every sport is they have the ability to take the human element out of it. I'm watching that game yesterday, man. My stomach hurt, my heart beating fast, I'm sweating, I'm nervous. But they're the ones playing. And you have to put all of that aside. Like, I'm trying to close out and win my first championship, and you have to do your job. And that's and people say clutch gene, and they say forget all that. It's being able to block out the human element and focus on the task at hand. And oftentimes when that veil of reality get lifted and you look around and you realize where you are and what you're doing, that can affect your play. And I think that's what happened to Ayton.
Yeah, Ayton, he didn't look the same. He was almost invisible in last night's game, especially offensively. I think, and bless his heart, he's young, so he still got some growth. Devin Booker, young, still got some growth. The thing about Giannis is Giannis took his lumps. Giannis,
that's true.
They got beat by Miami last year in the bubble. Even though they had the best record in the league, they was favored to come out of the East, and they lost. The year before that, they got bounced by Toronto when Kawhi was there.
Well, and they were up 2 games to none in that series.
They were projected to come out of the East again.
They were up 2 games to none in that series. Like, they blew a 2 games to none lead against Toronto. Like, they took their lumps. Yeah. And like you said, don't just think that, Brooklyn is just, okay, it's our time. It's like, no, Milwaukee have a fortitude about them right now. Like, those dudes are serious. And like we talked about in the pre-production, they're well constructed. They got a 7-foot big man. They have Portis coming off the bench, giving you that size, giving you that energy. They got PJ Tucker. And like, their starting shoe guard didn't play. Their starting 2 guard did not play in the series, Dante DiVincenzo. So I mean, that was a big element that they lost. And they still went through and won the championship. So to just be like, oh, well, Brooklyn is going, I don't know. I mean, Milwaukee could come out the gate and they could be stomping on people. Because like you said, they have, take out this season's record. The last 2 years, I think they were number one. They were the number 1 team going into the playoffs. Because they were against Miami and they were against Toronto.
He's going into playoffs the last 3 years. They won it this year. I think the league is in trouble for the next couple years because Giannis is the Terminator. Remember, he hyperextended his knee.
He hyperextended
in the
Eastern
his knee. Conference.
He wasn't even supposed to be there.
Yeah, he wasn't even supposed to be playing. This fool, the way he hyperextended his knee, you was thinking, oh, he done, and then he come out and win MVP in the finals. All this does is boost his confidence. Milwaukee, no, they can do it now. Remember, they went down 2-0 to Brooklyn.
Yes, they did.
This year. Came back, beat them, Game 7. Milwaukee is going to be trouble. I would not doubt if they repeated, because if they can pick up a knockdown shooter, plus DiVincenzo come back healthy, they trouble. I've underrated their defense. Jrue Holiday don't get enough credit. How many times did he rip Devin Booker I think he got 2 steals off of Devin Booker last night.
Yeah, he
made it difficult for them to do anything. So they got him in the backcourt. And if you get past him, they got 2 7-footers guarding the paint, plus what they doing on the wings.
Yeah,
they don't get enough credit for making Phoenix's life difficult. Phoenix was raining threes up until they hit Milwaukee, and then it just stopped.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with Phoenix stopped. That ball movement stopped. Remember in Game 1, they had like 12 passes before they got that look. Like, that ball movement stopped. And I mean, Milwaukee's defense could have played a factor into that, but at the same time, man, you put in them sets, and if that's the mindset, you're going to make them overwork on defense. You're going to get those good looks, and because they went away from that enabled Milwaukee to just key in on them and take them out. Because I mean, hey, call it what you want. That's a 6-game sweep.
I was finna say that is a 6-game sweep. 6-game sweep. Those do exist, especially the way they did it. They pretty much manhandled Phoenix from game 3 to last night. Manhandled them. Yeah, they had some lapses, but it was more when they were playing bad. It wasn't like Phoenix was doing anything spectacular to stop them. They just had some flubs.
Yeah.
Now, Milwaukee, I think Milwaukee should be favored to come out of the East next year, absolutely. Because I don't, Philadelphia, whatever. The only true competition I think they'll have is Brooklyn. But I don't even think Brooklyn will be that much comp anymore because Milwaukee beat them the way they beat them. Now, moving on to Phoenix, I started this series really into the Suns and what they had going. As the series progressed, I don't know what happened, but they really started to bug me as a team the deeper we got into this series. Chris Paul, unfortunately, he set a record last night that he shouldn't be proud of. He's the only player in the history of the league to blow a 2-0 lead in the playoffs 4 times.
4 times, and then I think he got 2 3-1 leads that he blew. I think he got.
And I think it's with. Yeah,
or he either got. I think he blew it.
Those two, and
yeah.
He looked lackluster. He looked nervous.
Well,
he looked nervous.
That's what I'm saying.
Turnovers late, and I was like, "Why are you doing that?"
That goes back to what I said about Ayton. That veil of reality got lifted, and he found himself thinking about where he was and what was going on. And see, that it's so true. Booker, I never got that feeling. Booker kind of stayed in the same mode the entire series, whether he had a good game or not, whether he shot the ball well or not. Booker looked like he was dialed in the whole time. I think Chris Paul was well aware of everything that was at stake. And like you said, you could kind of see it. He had a couple stretches in game 6 where he was getting in the paint and he was shooting, but they didn't look, he didn't have that, he didn't have like that, you didn't believe it. You know what I mean? Like
confidence behind
you didn't believe it. You didn't believe that he believed it.
Different from Booker, like you said, Booker looked the same from game 1 to game 6, even though, he had, even with some of his bad shooting nights, he still looked the same. He didn't look nervous. Now, based on his performance, he still got some work to do on his game and some of his decisions. Because, see, he had a couple turnovers yesterday where it was like, dude, you have to be decisive when you make your moves. And he's a little bit too indecisive. Like, yeah, you get to the lane, you get to the paint, don't pump fake, pull up, and shoot it.
Yeah, it just
what you playing around for? Now, Monte Ellis, Monte, what's his name? Monty Williams.
Yeah.
Fantastic job coaching. Nothing, you deserve nothing but props. You had a young team. You got them here. Unfortunately, for Phoenix, different from Milwaukee, I think if Milwaukee had a loss, I don't think the door of their opportunity would have slammed shut. Unfortunately for Phoenix, in the Wild Wild West, it is not going to be any easier for them to get back to the finals next year.
I think what happened with Phoenix this year is I think what happened with Phoenix this year is we kind of got a glimpse of what, like, maybe say year 3 could look like with this team. Like, because with a full season with CP3, Monty Williams at the helm, Phoenix was going to be good this year anyway. Phoenix was going to be good this year. Were they going to be game 6 finals good? I think nobody saw that coming. I think maybe, without the injuries and everything else, I'm thinking Phoenix maybe got to the second round, probably got bounced there. I don't think that Phoenix window is closed. I feel like because of their youth and the experience that they just gained, Phoenix isn't going to be an easy out next year. And it's like, don't tell me, because I'm like, look, as far as I'm concerned, there's only 2 teams Phoenix has to worry about, and that's full strength Clippers, full strength Lakers. I'm not sold on Dallas. Jason Kidd doesn't sell me on Dallas until Dallas gets an offense that's not just let Luka shoot. Dallas will be out in the first round. We don't know what Damian Lillard is going to do, but I feel like if Damian Lillard come back as constructed, Portland is not a threat. Don't talk to me about the Utah Jazz if John Stockton and Karl Malone ain't playing. And then the Nuggets are the other team that I would throw in there because we don't know what they would look like with Jamal Murray. So I'm like,
you gotta throw Golden State in there.
Oh yeah, and then Golden State, and I forgot about Golden State, who are my favorite to win the whole thing next year. I mean, Golden State, Milwaukee would be tight. But yeah, man, I think Phoenix is like top 4, top 5 in the West, but
out next year, but it's gonna be harder. Yeah, they might be top 4, top 5, because the Clippers are done. Because Kawhi had surgery and he gonna be out. I don't know how long he gonna be out, but he gonna be out into the season. And you know the way Kawhi is, if he's not feeling 100%, he's not playing. So he may not play next year.
Yeah, he may not play.
He got an ACL injury. He ain't gonna step on the court until he's feeling 110%. So I think the Clippers will they'll be decent, but I don't think they'll be a threat. The Lakers, and I like LeBron, but I'm gonna be 120%. If the Lakers don't trade AD, they won't be a threat either, because I don't think he is gonna last 82 games in a playoff. I just don't see it happening.
He's honest to goodness.
Injury was related to lack of rest, but I don't think it was, because through his career he is chronically injured.
Yeah, you know, you got to take the Lakers seriously because of LeBron, and that's the only reason why I'm taking them seriously. Because, like you said, AD, man, he got one of my boys on Facebook. He called it the Boys and Girls Club Championship. Cause shout out to my man Jimmy Washington, man, but he called it the Boys and Girls Club Championship. And you got to remember about that season, man. You know, the Lakers, yeah, they were where they were, but there was a long layoff from when COVID shut things down to when the bubble started, and that's what got him some extra amount of rest. I mean, and that's why he was able to play into the playoffs. But it's like, you come into this season, and like you said, I don't want to hear, well, we had to play 2-a-days and we had to play back-to-backs, and get out of here, man. Cut that out, bro. Cut that out, man.
Everybody did.
Cut that out, dude. You got cats like Jordan and them playing 82 games, 79 games every year, man. Like, stop, dude. Like, cut that out, man. You should be able to play an NBA season and playoffs like Giannis just did, and he hyperextended his knee. Like, nah, man, you cut that out.
You see the difference? Giannis work out and he hyperextended his knee, but because of the condition of his body, he take a week and a half off.
And he right back.
He eased his way back in. To playing shape. Because you could tell he was still working his way back into playing shape, because he was dog tired at the beginning of all of these Suns games. You notice in the first quarter he would take an early rest because dude was tired.
Man, he was,
with him balling as hard as he is. AD he's flabby.
One of the
you too tall not to make sure your joints are strong as they possibly can be.
One of the reasons why I'm so glad that the Bucks did win this series is because Giannis had so many signature moments. I'm like, look, man, we grew up watching the Bulls, okay? And, you know, when the Bulls won their first championship, I'm like 12, 13 years old. And Jordan do that up and under move where he jump up with his right and he finish with his left. And then the next year he Portland and he do the shrug things. I mean, you kind of looking for that moment. You know, I'm a young teen, and you watching the finals, and you just kind of get it in your mind like there's always going to be a moment in the finals, that's just gonna be like in a highlight reel forever. And it's like Giannis had 2 of them, and it's like you cannot lose that series, so all that stuff don't get talked about. That block.
Yeah, that block he had. It's like, you have to win.
That block was crazy.
People can put that block on the highlight reel.
Right, forever. And you get
good plays. If you don't win, they just get washed away.
They get washed away. Exactly. Cause I'm like, for me, that's the 3rd greatest block I ever seen. The first one was when Tayshaun Prince blocked Reggie Miller in Game 2 in the Indiana series in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2004. And the Pistons won the championship. LeBron blocking Iguodala in 2018. Cavs won the championship. Now Giannis blocked that alley-oop, being down 2-1. They won the championship.
See, that could have changed.
It could have changed everything. It could have changed everything.
Who the heck knows what happens after that? But the fact that he like you said, he that block and other things. My man, defensive player of the year,
back-to-back MVP, man.
And you got to get you a ring when you balling like that. Now, he said something in one of the press conferences, and this is when I was like, I'm down with Giannis. He said he wasn't trying to take no shots at nobody, but he was like, he was happy that he did it in Milwaukee because they drafted him. They took a chance on him when he was young. Him and Middleton, even though Middleton didn't start his career in Milwaukee, he put his foundation in Milwaukee. He started to get greater in Milwaukee. Him and Giannis built that up together. He said, I didn't need a super team. I didn't need to recruit nobody to come play with me.
Yep.
And I didn't have to go play with nobody. Me and the Bucks, they grew up and they won a championship. And I think this is exactly what the NBA needed.
It did. To give it a shot in the arm.
Start to close the door on the ideas of, you just have to put the quote-unquote all-star superstars together in order to win a ring. Kawhi went to the Clippers with PG. They haven't won nothing yet. Durant go with Brooklyn and Kyrie, and they get beat by the homegrown Milwaukee Bucks, who just won a championship, and they not going nowhere.
Nah,
they're not going nowhere.
That's so true. It is so refreshing to just see, an organization build a championship. And I mean, I'm with player control. I don't want nobody thinking, you should be able to dictate your things and set your own terms. And man, and that's great. But like I said, when you I feel like when you sitting up there on a conference call with 2 other people and be like, hey man, let's go over here and let's mount up. And calling people, hey man, come on up, like that. It's something that's off-putting to me about that. And this right here, because the draft is next week. I'm a Detroit Pistons fan. Don't beat me up too bad. But I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna be watching. And you want to see the process. You want to see guys get drafted, and you want to see those guys stay there and develop and grow and get better, and then compete for a championship. Like, instead of just seeing, because I done already heard Zion Williamson is unhappy and he looking to move. I mean, where you gonna go, man? Where you gonna go?
Exactly.
And what you gonna do, bro?
You 3 years old. This will be his 3rd season.
Yeah, like
what's a young buck? What's your rush? And like you said, where you gonna go?
Where you gonna go, dude? Where you gonna go? Who you gonna run with? I'm gonna try to go run with Ja. I'm gonna go try to go down to Atlanta. Like, man, stop it. You got Ingram. You got Ball. Y'all need a new coach. I don't know if Alvin Gentry is still down there, or if he was the guy, another dude that they need to put out the pasture. But you need to stay there. It's like you need to stay there and you need to build there.
They haven't won nothing yet, but at least they doing it the right way. Trust the process. Yeah, we draft, maybe we pull in a free agent here and there, but we're not trying to land the, again, quote unquote, big dog to kind of manufacture a championship,
right?
Because that does not always.
It don't always work, and I'm like
success.
I'm like this, I think it kind of go beyond just Milwaukee winning the championship, but I mean, look at the Hawks. Like, look at the Hawks.
The Hawks.
Like Trae Young,
Nice. Yep.
Trae Young, and Collins. That's your core. That is your core. Like I said, the draft is next week. Make some moves. Atlanta GM, Atlanta front office. Make some moves. Add on to that. You know what I mean? Like, and it doesn't have to be Zion. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the quote unquote names. Like, these GMs, look at your roster. Look at what first signed Nate McMillan to make him the head coach. Stop dragging your feet. And then build up that squad, and build up that squad with some youth. If you build it up with youth, guess what? Now you're talking 5, 6, 7 years of competitiveness. That's what's so scary about Milwaukee. Giannis is 26. Middleton is still a younger dude. Like, these dudes ain't in their 30s yet. So even if they don't win, even if they don't repeat, they could be knocking on the door in 23. That's how San Antonio did it. San Antonio never repeated.
San Antonio never repeated.
They never repeated, but Tim Duncan got 5 championships. He got 5 championships, and they never went back to back. So like you said, Milwaukee's not going anywhere. They've been knocking on the door for the past 2-3 seasons, and now they finally kicked the damn thing down. So build up your squads. Like, I mean, even Memphis, even with Ja Morant, like, they got to the playoffs this year. Build up your squads and players. Like you said, don't just think, oh man, I'm just gonna go hook up with my homeboy down there in LA. Because Paul George, he went to OKC trying to do that trash. Didn't work. Went to the Clippers. Didn't work. It's like, dude, that's not always the answer. It's not always the answer. Even LeBron.
If you don't win, it ends up being an embarrassment.
Even LeBron, who started all of this nonsense, he didn't win. He won 2 out of 4 in Miami. He won 1 out of 3 in Cleveland. And then he won 1 out of 3 in LA. Like, it doesn't. And look at KD.
Yeah,
KD won. He won 2 out of 3.
He may not ever go back.
KD won 2 out of 3 with Golden State. Ain't been back to the final since. So, I mean, don't just think that, oh man, yeah, I'm gonna go over here and we gonna hoop. Because it's like, for every Boston Celtics in 08 and every 95 Rockets, you got Kobe, Dwight, Pau Gasol, and Nash. You got Olajuwon, Barkley, and Pippen. You know, you got Darren Williams and KG and Paul Pierce and Joe Johnson. You got a lot of these teams. A lot of these teams have crashed and burned. Do not look at this like my only option to get a ring. Don't ring chase. Chris Paul, you better stay your behind in Phoenix. Do not go running trying to chase no ring, man. Cause it's almost to the point, because it's like people like, oh, I feel bad for CP3 and did this ruin his legacy? No, I don't think it touches his legacy at all. His legacy is he's the guy that can't get it done, and if he don't get it done, how does that change his legacy? It is what it is.
Stockton don't have a championship.
The only way to change, because it's like, the only way to change Chris Paul's legacy is to win the championship. Right now, he's the guy that can't get it done. That will be his legacy. Despite all of the positive things that he's done around the league, his legacy will be the guy who couldn't get it done in the playoffs. So no, this does not hurt his legacy at all. It solidifies it. It cements his legacy.
It's right on time, right? This is how Chris Paul do it.
Where's Denny Green when you need him?
When he's favored, he don't win.
Yeah, Chris Paul
was favored when in Lob City.
Yeah, Chris Paul is who we thought he was.
Yeah,
that's it.
Lob City was supposed to do something. The Rockets were supposed to do something when he was playing with Harden. Y'all up 2-0 against Golden State, and you lose. Well, what? Yeah. And now you up 2-0 against Milwaukee, looking fantastic. And then y'all let them walk all over y'all 4 games straight. I mean, Giannis had, in the last 3 games, he had 50, 40-something, and 40-something.
Yeah, it's like Phoenix, yeah, like you said, looking good doing it. Like, people just wrote Milwaukee off, but like you said earlier in this conversation, you got to give Milwaukee so much credit because of the mental fortitude that they have. They have a way of blocking all of that stuff out because they were down 2 games to none so many times in these playoffs. Brooklyn destroyed them in games 1 and 2. Destroyed them in games 1 and 2. And they won that series in 7. And it's like that type of stuff comes from 2 years ago losing in Toronto. Last year losing in the first round in the bubble to Miami. Like, that's that kind of stuff. That's how you build. That's how you grow. That's how you get better. You build and grow. You learn through losses. You don't learn through wins. Yes. You don't learn anything through winning.
Losing is just a lesson.
Yeah, winning is the result of preparation. That's it. You know what I mean? The only thing you learn from winning is, hey man, if I prepare hard enough, I can win. But there's so many other lessons to be taught when you lose. And
you actually learn when you lose.
You actually learn when you lose. Like, the only thing, that winning is a result of preparation. Point blank, period, end of discussion. The team that's better prepared and sometimes a little bit more lucky than the other team, that's the team that's usually going to win. But it's like when you lose, depending on how you lose, what happened in the situation, how did you play, like so many things. Because I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why Phoenix is not going to be an easy out, because it's like because Devin Booker, I think Devin Booker is cut from that cloth. He's cut from a different cloth. He's not. He's
gonna be tough.
He's cut from a different cloth. That dude is gonna be. Devin Booker is gonna be tough. He is gonna be tough, and I'm hoping that DeAndre Ayton has a little bit of that in him too. Because if he does, Phoenix is gonna be tough. But you know, it's like the Fab Five, man. Remember the Fab Five when they were freshmen and they running through the tournament and they beating everybody? It's like, dude. And what did they say? Oh man, they say they so young they don't know where they are. It's like they don't know what's going on. It's like, it's so much truth to that, and that's kind of what Phoenix was like this year. Because I mean, they handled the Lakers. They was down 2-1, but they handled that. You never felt like Phoenix was out of that series. And then they destroyed Denver, and then they controlled the Clippers, and then you win the first 2 games of the finals.
Oh, the Clippers, yeah.
Like reality, and you got to grow from that. That's how you get better. And if Phoenix responds, if they get up off the deck, they dust themselves off, Phoenix can be great. And I'm like, and I don't mean next year Phoenix is going to win. I'm talking about 2023. That's when you better, if everything stays as is, that's when you better watch out for Phoenix. Once LeBron James, finally sit in that rocking chair, that the West is going to open wide up. It's going to be wide open. It's going to be wide open as soon as he sit down.
I agree with that too.
So
LeBron, he's a monkey wrench.
Yeah, until he
you can't count
him
out until he gone.
Until he's out.
His way out, he might eliminate somebody who could potentially do something.
Exactly.
So he's messing things up.
Exactly. I'm like, look for Phoenix in 2023. Don't look for them next year, because with Golden State coming, that's just going to be too much. I think Golden State going to be too much, because Clay going to be playing with something to prove, and everybody seemed to forget about Steph.
Golden State is going to be playing with something to prove.
Yeah, everybody just seemed to forget about Steph.
On the league next year.
Because if Steph was in the MVP conversation this year, everybody tend to forget about Steph. And that ain't the move. But we done went a little over today. But I mean, hey, we just enjoyed the season. We enjoyed the NBA. We enjoyed talking about it. Look for us next week. We might do something pertaining to the draft, and we'll definitely have a couple series where we'll highlight a couple teams and off-season moves that they made. But you got anything else about the finals, man?
And then the Olympics is going to start up, so we'll see what USA.
Well, we got to get in on USA basketball
in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, and maybe we just get on some Olympics for a little bit too. Maybe that'll get interesting.
Yeah. So man, make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel, man. Post a comment down below, man. We want to know what y'all thought about the finals. Giannis winning the MVP. Any off-season moves you concerned about? What your favorite team is, man? We just want to hear from y'all, man. That's all. So yeah, like I said, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. But that's all we got for today, man. We're gonna let y'all go. So peace out.
Peace out, everybody.
I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, for a very lovely evening. Never have so few owed so much to so many. Good night.